it's a great time to be alive.
Life is good, isn't it?
Yeah. Life
and
is
it's
good.
a great day to be alive. I know the sun's still shining when I close my eyes. Yeah! Not your NFL Darius J. Butler, one half of the Hammer. Cowboys AP Tone. And joining us now, ladies and gentlemen, is a four-time NFL MVP, a Super Bowl champion. Last year was the quarterback of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Before that, he was quarterback of the Jets. Before that, what people will remember is an iconic run with the Green Bay Packers, where some kid out of Cal became an absolute icon. Mm-hmm. That man's name, Aaron Rodgers. Yeah. How you doing, dude?
I'm glad you guys played that song because AJ loves that song. He really does. That's one of his favorites.
Oh, really? Do you want to sing with us? Yep. It's a great
day to be alive.
Did he say?
What'd you say, AJ?
He's talking about
He's muted.
No. Travis Tritt. Can't hear him. I love it. Can't hear him.
Go ahead, AJ. What'd you say?
Still.
Oh, no.
You are.
No, he's doing that on purpose, I think, Aaron. I think he's doing it on purpose, Aaron. Oh, I don't know if you guys play with me or not. We actually cannot hear you right now, so if you could turn off your mute, that would be sick. Hey, you're muted, dude. They're saying it's your side. Everybody in the back is saying, oh, he thinks we're lying to him.
Yeah.
See, this is part of the problem.
There's got to be some technical issue when I come on, right?
Always.
I think I'm good today, but there's got to be something, right?
You look good. You look incredibly happy. I told the boy, let's call AJ back. AJ, you are actually could not hear you. AJ thinks we are. You think we're fucking with you, AJ. We are not fucking with you. We actually cannot hear you. Aaron, thank you for being a part of that moment. And also,
this is a better two-shot anyway. You know what I mean?
I'll tell you what, Aaron, you're incredibly handsome, which is a part of a lot of things.
Magnan. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I like the blue shirt, blue eyes just going absolutely crazy right now. But you're also glowing.
Well, it's a shout out to where I did my rehab, twice, collarbone and my Achilles. So shout out to Heather and everybody over there at Elite Ortho. I just saw it in the drawer today, and you can't see it, but I've been doing a lot of push-ups and lifting, so it was kind of tight on the arms. I kind of liked it.
Okay, so
like you wearing those tight shirts.
Well, I'm on a bunch of peptides. You'll learn about that when you retire. And I don't know what you're planning on doing in this particular conversation, but hearing that you've been working out, and what I said to the boys is getting a chance to FaceTime with you over the last few days and catch up with you after the season. It's like, you look good, man. You look healthy. You look happy. And obviously a couple times you weren't able to chat because you were working out. You will be a guy that will work out for the rest of your life, or is this a part of your process still on what's next for you as a football player or as a human? I don't want to, literally, we are so happy you joined us. It's great to catch up. I don't want to immediately jump into it, but you're talking about working out. It's like, okay, are you just always going to be like that? Is there a reason? Have you got to that point in your mind? Like, where do you sit on this particular March 4th?
Probably somewhere between you and AJ, I would say. Maybe closer to you. I know you got a good workout schedule. AJ's like 5 a.m. On the Versa climber in there, I'm not doing that, but no, I'm trying to stay fit. I mean, it's harder when you get older. So you kind of can't take the same amount of time off as you used to. After so many seasons, I would take, a few weeks off, a month and a half. Now, now at 42, just to stay in shape, you gotta kind of always be dialed in on the diet and sleep and the workouts if you want to look the right way. I want this is we're not on ESPN. I mean, it wouldn't fucking matter, but
valid.
I want to look good. I want my wife to want to fuck me all the time. I look good all the time.
Okay. All right. On that. Okay, so we'll get back to the workouts and why and everything like that. And I'll tell you,
shout out to Icelandic water.
Of course.
I'm usually a Mountain Valley spring water guy, but I do love the Icelandic. And when I got to Pittsburgh, there were a lot of guys, imitation is the highest form of flattery, a lot of guys that, copied some of the things that I did, with the wired-in headphones and the Mountain Valley. And Vince Skoranek is one of the top ones. He came out to Malibu. We had a good time and threw the ball around a little bit. And after that, the next time I saw him, he was wired in, green bottle with him everywhere. So I take a lot of pride in that. I appreciate that. TJ Watt, went to wired-in headphones. So
okay.
Bad teammate.
appreciate all those guys.
Notorious bad teammate Aaron Rodgers potentially influencing the locker room. Let's talk about you being old man in for the Pittsburgh Steelers in new team, new city. When we talked to you at training camp, it was still the stage of like everything was possible. And I think Jalen Ramsey was talking at training camp about once I heard everybody's why, everybody was really motivated, really excited. The season goes how it goes. You have success, obviously win AFC North, doesn't end up with a Super Bowl. How do you look back on the year that was with the Pittsburgh Steelers, and how thankful are you? And I'm asking you that because, yes, I am Yinzer and everything like that, former punt, pass, and kick world champion for the Pittsburgh Steelers. But how was the year versus what you thought it was going to be and then what it inevitably ended up being? And how do you sit now with what last season was for you?
Well, first of all, I had to do not disturb because obviously Ben Skoronek's watching it, so he just texted.
Yo, thank you, dude.
Hey, baby Betty.
Yeah, shout out, Ben.
Shout out to Ben, man. Like, there's a few guys I've really connected with, quickly, and he was just one of them. Like, I love Ben, and he's such a quirky, kooky. I don't know if you guys ever had a chance to talk to him, but he's hilarious.
Best
Man.
special
Every
teams player.
day he's just on one, and I never. There's some doldrums, throughout the season, long weeks or training camp, but him every day the same, just cracking jokes, ripping on people, inappropriate, things that he would bring up all the time.
Hell yeah.
So there was a lot of guys that made the year special. Ben, obviously, my quarterback room. I mean, I'd never met Mason Rudolph before. Mason's one of my favorite guys I ever played with. I mean, Mason got me through every single day. I mean, he is just hilarious. I mean, he's such a naturally funny guy and super dry and cutting. So we had a blast. And then Will Howard, like, what a great young player. Just got the right moxie, the right personality, and loved working with him. And Skylar Thompson, Sky is one of the quietest dudes I've had in the room, but Sky's a sweetheart, man. He's just such a nice guy. So we had a blast. And then obviously Cam and TJ were great. And the guys I got to spend time, a lot of time with locker room wise, next to Pat Fryermuth. I love Pat and just loved his whole demeanor and the way he showed what a true professional he was the entire year. And Calvin Austin, what an absolute sweet kid that guy is. Like, just special guy to share the field with. And so many guys, you mentioned Jalen. I love playing with Jalen and Deshaun Elliott, who said I need to be retired. In the off season, I gave him a lot of shit about that, but I love Deshaun. I mean, what a great guy. And there were so many people: Arthur Smith, Tom Arth, Mike T. Obviously, Mike T. was a huge reason why I went there, and Mr. Rooney. Like, just the way I was treated out there, I had a blast. Obviously, we talked about this. Like, when you're off the field, stuff is not an escape. It's a blessing. It's a refuge. It's a home. You can just play and just enjoy the heck out of everything the game has to offer, because the game is a tough game. It's a grind. It's a long season, and there's ups and downs and highs and lows and emotional swings and momentum, and the mantle of leadership is heavy a lot of times. It's something you love, but to be able to go home after work and be able to have that part so locked in and so special and such a refuge, made the year even more fun. But I give a lot of credit to the organization and Mike T and Arthur and all the guys I mentioned, the quarterback room, and Ben and DK and Calvin and Roman and Scotty. And it was just a fun group of guys, and I really enjoyed my time.
Yeah, and obviously only one team wins the Super Bowl. That was not you guys, so it's always going to be a devastating finale to a season. Then Coach Tomlin obviously steps down after a long tenure. With the way it all ends, you're not sour about the decision to join the Pittsburgh Steelers at all. And on that note, Mike McCarthy going back to Pittsburgh down there to become the Pittsburgh Steelers head coach. Feels like it's a movie, doesn't it? Doesn't it all feel like kind of like a little bit of a simulation type situation here with this all kind of happening at this exact time? Your thoughts on him getting into the Steelers building for the first time in his life as Notorious Yinzer and friend of yours, I believe I can say, now that he's kind of taken over?
Yeah, Mike's one of the great guys in the league. Just an absolutely exceptional human being with a huge heart. We had a lot of great years together, a lot of fun. He really cares about the players, but he also holds guys accountable and creates a lot of structure and details in the process. But man, I love my time with Mike over the years. Obviously, there were some times. It's like a big brother where you're sometimes you love him, sometimes you're pissed at him. But deep down, there's so much love for Mike and appreciation for the time we spent together. And I think, what was really special for us was in 2022, he was with Dallas and they came in and played a night game against us, and we were going through some struggles. And Mike and I had talked like that Monday of that week, really before I came on the show on Tuesday. We had talked on Monday and said, hey, let's spend some time together, before the game, away from the cameras, because we knew it was going to be a spectacle, everything that was written, most of it bullshit, about our relationship. And let's spend some time together where we're not like with a boom mic over the top of us and a camera on us. So I was telling you this, I want to share this story, but so he hit me up on game day and was like, hey, what time you want to get together? And it was like, we had a night game. It was like noon, I think. And I said, I usually come, 4 hours for the game, but I'll come a little early. I said, what time are you going to be over at the stadium? He said, I'm already here. So I said, okay. I said, where do you want to meet? And he said, let's meet in the sewing room. So there was a room off the locker room, off the equipment room, where the sewing ladies, sweethearts, would put the patches on the uniforms and names on the uniforms. And so we met in there for like an hour, just him and I, and just had a really special time, like talking about the time we spent together and the appreciation we had for each other and the gratitude. And that was a deeply meaningful moment for both of us, I think I can say. And I just say, the league, the way it's covered is so fickle now. There's so many opinions. And it used to be just, on Sports Center, it was on ESPN, it was highlights, and the stars were the people in the highlights. And I've talked about this, but now the stars are the people they think they're stars, are the people who are debating. It's all talking heads, and the majority of it, I would say, other than this show, I think that, not speaking out of my ass there, is very negatively slanted. It's like somebody has this opinion, somebody has this opinion, and they'll fight about it, and it's mostly negatively slanted, or at least one of the people has a negative slant on it. And so I saw some of the stuff you've written about Mike, and I just think, one, he doesn't give a shit about that. Two, it's majority of it's bullshit. Any negative thing about Mike, I don't give a shit about how old he is, how long he's been in the league, or the trend of the new young, play caller who's called, who's been on the staff of one of the Shanahan disciples. Like, it seems like that's kind of the hot thing. I get that. Like, there's a lot of great scheme in there, but there's something to an old school organization, which the Pittsburgh Steelers definitely are, just like the Green Bay Packers were, and bringing in a guy not only who brings accountability and a program that's proven to work at multiple places now, but he's a fucking Yinzer.
Yeah, oh yeah.
He grew up literally like we're on the practice field, and Christian Kuntz, our long snapper, who's Pittsburgh through and through, grew up there, went to Duquesne. Great dude. I loved Kuntz. He's hilarious. I just gave him shit all the time. But he's like, I remember one day we were in practice field, I said, hey, where's Greenfield Avenue, where Mike's from? He's like, in his accent, he's like, it's right over there, just the other side of the hill. I mean, that's where Mike comes from. Mike bleeds, Pittsburgh, PA. And I think there's something special about that for a guy who's going to come home and lead in a historic franchise. There's not many of them in the league I've talked about. There's only a few kind of those cornerstone franchises. Who else would you rather have lead? A guy that like literally bleeds black and gold and loves the city with all his heart. And this is like a dream job for him. I was telling him after he got hired, like, what an awesome thing. Like, you're going to have coached three of the iconic franchises, Green Bay Packers, Dallas Cowboys, and Pittsburgh Steelers. Are you kidding me? That's 60s, 70s, and 80s, like, dynasties, and for a guy to try and come back and lead back to that greatness, I don't think you can do better, at this time in this franchise's history than bringing in a guy like Mike McCarthy. So I'm really happy for him. We've had good conversations, and I have a lot of love for Mike.
We're incredibly proud of that Yinzer legend, Mike McCarthy. Like, legit. You talk about him
He
being
was on the show, too. You guys had him.
Yeah.
He was great, wasn't he?
unbelievable. He quoted Galileo. I didn't know he had that because, once again, he is Yinzer. So I just by looking at him and hearing him talk, I naturally am like, I know him. I've met 1,000 of him before throughout my entire life just because he is such a yinzer. But then he was quoting the things he was saying, like, I go out there with the punters and kickers, and, if it's really windy, sometimes you got to have a conversation about which way it needs to go, which way we need to go. You're talking about him being there at noon or whatever for an 8 o'clock game. It's like the amount of depth that he had from all the years of football and the way he views things and seemingly has adapted with the time. And I'm sure he hasn't been perfect. And I appreciate the fact that you mentioned that conversation you guys had in the sewing room in the bowels of Lambeau, which is like one of the most historic places in football. You two having one of the most historic football convos potentially, if what happens is about to maybe happen here, which I would definitely lead to next. But Mike McCarthy impressed us every single week. I was actually asked, though, by the Pittsburgh Steelers people. First time I've ever been asked. We've had a lot of people get hired for jobs coming off of this show. First time I've ever been asked, like, hey, what was this person like to deal with? And it's like, hey, every week this guy was more prepared than anybody else. No offense to anybody else that has ever been on our show. We're appreciative of that. He came with ideas. He came with thoughts. Hey, I saw this. I think this, maybe this. And then we'd say something and he'd go, oh, I never thought of that. And then he'd sit there and take an actual genuine thought of it. And then he's, I guess that kind of leads to, and then he goes this. It's like, yes, he was fully invested with us. And we very much understood, he's trying to get back into coaching, and he was all in for us. So we were appreciative. I was mind blown by him. And I was turned, I think, all season being like, yes, he can coach in the modern NFL. Let's talk about you now, still playing in the modern NFL. You're 42 years old. What year would next year be if you played?
22.
So you've lived through some eras now, bro. You've gone through some eras in humans and technological advances in society and in the NFL and personality changes in everything. So you've been there for that long. Mike McCarthy being able to coach in this day and age seems like you're all in on that. Is that something you think that can win a Super Bowl in this day and age? And do you think the Pittsburgh Steelers can be a team that can get number 7? Because that's all their fans care about. Are those things that you've thought about with Mike being paired with the Pittsburgh Steelers? Because the only thing either of them care about is winning a Super Bowl, basically, right? That's the only thing that matters for either side at this stage of the journey into football lives. You agree with that or no?
Yeah, I agree with that. I think the league is very cyclical. I think if you've seen, you're talking about trends in the league and where it goes. If you look at the trends last year in the NFL, and I felt like, Arthur was kind of on the front of a lot of this, the 6 offensive linemen, as a counter to some of the things that defenses were doing. Whereas you've seen in Buffalo, I think Buffalo, did this more than anybody, playing nickel to every personnel, because Taron Johnson is one of the best players in the league, and he's one of the most underrated players in the league, I think, for whatever reason. But he can play a box linebacker and stop the run, and he can cover guys. And because of that and their willingness to play nickel versus any personnel grouping, I think some of the responses, and definitely in Pittsburgh for us, as you see more teams doing that, not matching personnel, so going more nickel to base personnel groupings, was go 6 offensive linemen. And we kind of roll it out really the most against Cleveland early in the season and then against Minnesota. And it was a good counter for us, for sure. And you saw more and more teams start to get to a 6th offensive lineman. Now, many people were saying that Darnell was like a 6th offensive lineman, but I think Darnell proved a lot of people wrong this year about his route running ability, his ability after the catch, his catch radius, and his ability to be a full-time wide tight end. But the flexibility that we had with Spencer to be able to come in and be the 6th offensive lineman, there you go right now. You're bringing up, okay, that's the highest since 2007, but I would say what's the percentage of 6 offensive lineman packages at 8? I'd say it would be under 5% probably, or at least under 10. That number probably jumped up this season as well. So what I'm saying is you see trends change in the coaching ranks. Mike Tomlin, when he got hired, was an outlier. There weren't really any around that 40-year-old range quarterback or coaches being hired. And then Sean McVay got hired, I believe, at 33. He was in his early 30s.
32 maybe. I don't remember if it was 32 or 33, whatever it was. It was absurd, yeah.
And then goes to Super Bowl and then wins the Super Bowl. And I think everybody's like, oh, that's what happens, with defenses, the Seattle 3. Everybody needs one Seattle 3. With the Shanahan system, everybody should get a Shanahan guy. With the young coaches, everybody should get a young coach because obviously it works. And that's the way the league is, very reactive in that way. But I think, as you see, like I'm saying, with the cyclical nature of the fullback position, obviously, I think becoming more of a factor in the next coming years as you play more base personnel, if defenses want to play nickel. And the reason for that is because usually the third linebacker who gets taken out in nickel situations is not a great cover guy. So now you're creating big personnel in order to put that guy in a bind, because obviously he comes off the field in passing situations or in nickel situations. So the fullback comes back around. But I think what I'm trying to say is that I think you're going to see more older coaches get opportunities, because you realize that maybe, the experience and the accountability factor and having been through multiple decades or stretches of the changes, the cyclical nature and change of the league, they have a better opportunity to deal with the things, because they've seen so much stuff. Me and Mike were laughing about on one of our first calls about
Which Mike?
Mike McCarthy.
Okay.
Big Mike. Yeah, me and Big Mike were talking about a play that is all over the league now, but I didn't see it back in the league until he was running a few years ago with Dallas and Dak. And it was a play that we ran back in the early 2010s and late 2000s, where you have a lead blocker for a swing route. So on the backside of a progression, you have a fullback or a tight end lead blocking, and you have the halfback running a wide route. So now the halfback's not just catching a check down and having to make multiple people miss. Now you have a lead blocker going. And just the fact that that's the way the league goes. When people see concepts at work, they change it. When people see older coaches have success, then it's going to allow for more of those guys to get job opportunities, like the Rich Bisaccias of the world, who, had a chance in Oakland after the Gruden stuff went down and had a great run, but then was passed up for a younger guy from a tree that was hot at the time. And more of those guys need jobs and deserve jobs. And hopefully Big Mike has success, and it can open doors for more guys in the 50 plus range who've been lifers, who know how to coach ball.
Yeah, when we see Big Mike have success, obviously, hopefully that'll continue the trend that you were speaking about. We just saw Monken get a gig. Obviously, Vrabe's been around. He gets a gig last offseason. McDonald, new coach, certainly having a lot of success in Seattle. But just like the quarterback market, where the experienced guys are getting another opportunity and maybe having success, we'll see if that happens again at the head coaching position, especially in Pittsburgh. What it sounds like is the offense that you've known your entire NFL-ness is starting to become a little bit more significant around the entire NFL. And maybe this West Coast offense that Mike McCarthy is certainly going to bring in is something that you have mastered for a pretty long time. You've obviously had to do a couple different offenses as the game has changed, but this is the one that you were birthed upon in the NFL. So that would mean you would want to be back in it, right? Is that not okay? Now you would have to make the decision. You would still want to play, right? Which I'm not putting. I want you to know that if you don't want to say anything, we do not give a shit. Now, is there a lot of people that want to hear if you want to play next year or not at this exact moment? Definitely. But you have earned the right at this stage, 21 years in the NFL, first ballot Hall of Famer, Mount Rushmore in this entire thing, to figure out what is right for you and what you want to do. So you don't feel like we are putting a deadline on you. But have you got to that point where it's like, would be cool to play in Big Mike's system again? Would be cool to be in Big Mike's building again? Would be cool to get a chance to maybe rewrite the ending of our relationship in a place that, although it is not the same, has similar history whenever it comes to NFL story? How much of that convo have you had with yourself at this stage, and what has that been like, reliving what could possibly be next year?
Well, I want to say that anybody on here who's expecting me to make some big decision, just shut up. Just turn it off now. Just leave.
And we would like to say you are good people. Not everything's wrong with you. Tone's leaving right now. Okay, Tone is leaving. The rest of Pittsburgh is on the way out. Okay, you're good people, but just like this is a gigantic decision for a human being's life. And I know football is gigantic, but this is 2 decades plus worth of shit that has to get sorted for how life kind of continues to go. But on that note, you've had to have done some daydreaming about what it would be like to be back with Big Mike, I assume, or am I assuming incorrectly there?
Well, I mean, what are we sitting here? It's March 4th. Free agency starts in a week. I've been spending a lot of time with my wife. We went on a ski trip. Just been laying low. There's a lot of other things going on with the situation in Malibu that have changed some things. But I've talked to Mike. I've talked to Omar. There's been no deadline that's been put in front of me. There's no contract, offer or anything. So there's nothing that I'm, having to debate between. I'm free agent, and again, I'm enjoying my time with my wife and enjoying this part of the off season, and I think there's conversations to be had down the line, but right now I'm not there hasn't been any progressive conversations. I love Mike, and Mike and I have kept in contact over the years. I've had conversations with Omar. I really, I think Omar, enjoyed having me there. I think the guys, had a positive response, to our time together. But again, there hasn't been any deadline set on me. There hasn't been any contract, floated in front of me for me to like, well, we're giving you till March the 8th to make a decision on this contract. There's been nothing to that respect. So in that manner, I'm just I'm working out because the reasons I told you first and foremost, and I'm spending time with my better half, and interested in what the conversations will be, but there hasn't been any progression when it comes to that.
Okay, so you're saying it feels like all parties are trying to figure out what is what going forward, not just you, because the team, Steelers, are in the middle of rebuilding this in McCarthy's vision. Not that they're wanting to do a full rebuild, which is why they hired Coach McCarthy. This isn't a time to do a rebuild. This is a, hey, take where we are and kind of go for it. They have to make decisions. What you're saying is you have not been told that any decision needs to be made from their end, and on your side, you have not put yourself in a mental place to have to make a decision, because that, once again, that is a gigantic decision, obviously, for you to make at this stage of your life. I do appreciate, though, the hell out of this multiple times now where you've mentioned her. Your wife and you, this is the reason for your glow whenever I FaceTime you. And have you heard all of the conversations, you've had to have, about your wife? Because nobody knows. I've never met her, obviously. I've never met her. That was a story yesterday.
New York Post.
As if I would have met. Exactly.
When's the last time we actually hung out?
And when would I have time to potentially, no offense, okay? I would love to hang out with you. But on that note, the times in which people have hangout times isn't necessarily conducive to daily sports show human beings. Mm-hmm. But on that note, it's not just about me. There's other people that have said it as well. There's a lot of conversation and conjecture about your relationship. And I think you, whenever you announced said relationship on this particular program, you talked about how, like, hey, the lady that I am with right now is not signing up for everybody just to tear her down because she is in a relationship with a guy that's good at football. I think you've set the standard for that. But boy, it has been a lot of conversation by everybody about your relationship. Have you heard it? Do you want to talk about that at all? And good for you, by the way. It seems like you have found... It feels like you found your one, brother. It genuinely does. So congratulations. We are very happy for you in that particular sense. You need to know that as well. There's people out there that are very fucking happy for you as well that you're in love.
The obsession is fucking bizarre.
Okay.
That's the only way to put it. The obsession is really bizarre. You guys know, you laughed about this, many times. You showed pictures of it, but we're not living at the beach anymore. Part of it is I have legitimate stalkers, and I don't say that lightly or flippantly. I've been getting stalked in my house for about a year and a half when I was living there. Not just that, but stalked at the coffee shop I would frequent, the gym at Proactive that I would go to, which was really bizarre. It still is. And then the paparazzi was stalking me for a long time, flying drones over my house, and had I've learned has had a bounty on getting a picture of my wife, which I think is very bizarre as well. I understand the attention that comes with somebody who's accomplished what I've accomplished, and so in no way, am I making this a woe is me. But when it comes to your personal safety, and now it's not just me, it's me and her. It's really fucking bizarre. And, when we met back in 2017, like, I knew that there was something crazy special about this, and I wanted to be with her. And she would make funny comments like, I would never live in Green Bay, and I don't want to be a player's wife. She's not a public person. And, then she moved back across the pond. And I got myself into crazy town, and I was with individuals who called the paparazzi, who leaked, or talked about where I was living, who, coerced me to make, the proverbial, Instagram, social media posts. I never really wanted to live a public life. I mean, if you look at the saga with my family for years, it was one-sided. They were making shots in the media saying bullshit. I never said anything until it got to the point where I'm like, all right, enough is enough. And I don't, honestly, I'm not, if you look at my Instagram, I think I posted one time, and it was a post about the ATVs. I got the boys. I don't post on X. Like, I'm not a social media guy anymore. So I only know about this stuff because of my sweet sister, Mia, who actually has a message I'm going to read at some point.
Okay, all right. So I've learned this, Mia. I've only learned of you over the last couple of days. Sounds like you are a dog, and I would like to let you know I appreciate what you've done. Look how happy he is. Look, you feel fully empowered, feel like fully supported, it seems like, is how you are describing your relationship. And I think whenever you come out and speak about this for her, it feels like you're trying to support her as well, saying, hey, like,
she didn't sign up for this bullshit. She signed up because she loves me and she supports me and she wants to spend the rest of our lives together and start a family together. She didn't sign up to be out front, social media wag. Like, she doesn't want any of that bullshit, and I don't either, and I was with that. And which is like even more telling, like, do you understand? I was with it. I lived that life. I didn't like it. I dealt with it. I didn't like it. Now I'm out of it. I don't want to be back in it. I don't want to be a part of that. I understand, when I play, if I play, that there's scrutiny, there's attention that comes with it. But I'm fully content on living a private life. But you have people out there that say shit about me and create these narratives and talk about my wife and talk about this and that and search for a wedding certificate and all this different bullshit. Like, we're not living a public life. We're not going to now. Not in the future, not ever. When this is done, it's Kaiser Sose, and you won't see me. You won't see me. I'm not doing TV.
Kaiser Sose? I don't think I know what that. Context clues tells me it means disappear.
Usual suspects. Yeah, usual suspects. Yeah, I'm not going to be out and about. Spacey. Wow. Yeah. This whole nother guy.
Is that what you did? Okay.
That's AJ's guy.
But the narratives, have just gotten a little bit ridiculous, and I just some of those I want to say, like, just fucking move on. It's been years and years and years, and I dealt with clinically bipolar. I dealt with depressed relevance seeking. I dealt with people that wanted to, search out other possibilities and before they could commit to me. And then, then they go on TV talking about how I ruined their lives and all this shit. And I just want to say, just like, move on with your life. Stop lying about me. Just move on with your life and be happy. Like, it's not just them, but it's other people in the media. That's like, there's this relevance that they feel that they have to mention my name. Like, I'm not seeking relevance. I'm not seeking attention. I'm not doing, this is the only thing I've done this entire offseason, right?
Yes, and we haven't seen you since training camp.
And I would only do this. I would only do this because this is the only platform that I want to be a part of with this positivity. But I think it's the obsession with my wife is very, very strange. And I have a super small circle. It's getting smaller by the minute. And the people that are in that tiny circle, they know. And they've met her and they love her. And the people that aren't, it's just the way it is. Like, that's life. That's life. You learn, you grow, your circle gets smaller, you have less time to spend with other people. But just like the obsession with like what on my personal life, it's strange. It's very strange. I understand the attention that I get and because of what I've accomplished, but I'm not going to put up with any more bullshit about her, and I'm going to protect them, and that's why we're not living at the beach anymore. And I'm happy, very happy with that decision, and in life, man, life is great.
Yeah, it sounds like it. And congratulations, getting that off your chest. That was a lot. That was a lot of shit that had been boiling up.
Well, at some point, like,
yes.
At some point, it's just like the narrative gets so far out there. It's like, just stop.
That's how Aaron Rodgers Tuesday started, actually. Like, people don't know that is you didn't talk. You like literally never talked is kind of what the thing was. And then everybody else was kind of talking for you. And then whenever I say everybody else, I mean just a few people were talking for you. Everybody else that was around you was saying the same thing. Oh, he's a bro. He's a dude, a teammate. And obviously, he's unbelievably talented. Every athlete had respect. But when those narratives just continue to grow, I told you, I think the first time I saw you during a rain delay down in the Bahamas when you were doing a golf tournament to raise money for something. Terrible person. Also had us down in the Bahamas. Awesome time.
Yeah, great time.
Thank you for doing that. But there was a little rain delay there, and there was a couple cocktails. Ty had maybe 30 or 40 of them. Me as well. I mean, let's not get crazy. But I say, like, dude, I feel like I don't really know much about you. And I feel like you're a Mount Rushmore guy. And that was because you didn't really come out and do your stuff. That's how Aaron Rodgers Tuesday started. And then you would talk once, okay, a week. And then all of a sudden, this guy wants to take. It's like, no, everybody does this once a week. Just so happened you're listening. You know why? Because you have heard a lot of things about him, but you never heard his side of things. And I think there's going to be people that are always going to have their feelings about you because of all the narratives there at the beginning. But anybody that's ever watched you on Aaron Rodgers Tuesday, anybody that's ever hung around you, and all your teammates, like 99.99999% of your teammates and coaches have all said the same thing, you're a bro. We appreciate the hell out of what you've done for sport and how you go about living your life, and you're definitely unique. And I appreciate you taking a stand here for your wife because there's been a lot of thoughts, there's been a lot of opinions, there's been a lot of ideas, and I like the fact that you're standing your ground, double down, saying, no, you don't, like, what are we talking about? This isn't a decision for you to make about us. This is a decision for us to make about us. And I'm a football player. I understand there's going to be pressure. That doesn't, in spotlight, that doesn't mean that she just has to sign up for hell. You said you met her in 2017. That's a new piece of information. That's a new piece of information. Yeah. I didn't know that. Yeah. I didn't know we knew her for a long time. And I just want to let you know after all that, especially after I heard you going through different reports that we had seen there in your brain and kind of giving your angle of this entire thing, like, hey, there's two sides of this story if you would like to potentially think about that in the human existence. And then you just go, I met her in 2017. I was like, whoa, did we know that? Congrats. I didn't know we had deep, long time history with somebody. And then we decide that we're going to go ahead and when two become one. And then all of a sudden we're living a great life and we're happy. Like, good for you, man. Good for all of it. I just want to let you know that. Good for all of it.
Well, it's like I said. I mean, like when you meet that person, and even though we had years between it, like there's always that draw, you know? So like, you know, one thing I will say is, like, I think I've been accused of being emotionally unavailable. Yeah, I own that for sure. Because I met my person in 2017, and after it didn't work out at the start, I dove into football, and I made football my number one from that point forward, and gave everything I had to the game because I fucking love the game. But when things came back around, you know, a year and a half ago or so, at the end of 2024, like, man, to be able to just have that freedom that being with the right person gives you, man, there's no substitute for that. When you feel it, when you have it, you just fucking know. And it's like, man, like it freed me up in a way I'd never experienced before to be able to just truly enjoy football. And I said last year, you know, when I wanted to play, like it was about having fun. Because this game gave me so much. And a big part of that for sure was the Steelers and the guys I met and Mike T and Arthur and Tom Arth and that part. But a bigger part was the home life was at a different space than it's ever been. And she deserves all the credit.
Good for you, man. Happy you're happy. Happy you're happy. I think I read somewhere, somebody said, I used to hate my life, but I love my work. So I made my work my life. Now I make it work. And I don't know if that's necessarily like the best initiative, but I don't think you're alone in that entire thing. I think it's happened in the past. And your best version of you is going to make you the best version of you as a football player. So I'm happy you found that. And I hope we get to see it again. On that note, there's others that hope that's it. Not putting any deadlines on you. Okay? Not putting any narratives out there. Icelandic water is delicious.
Yeah, it is. We used to.
Okay, fantastic. It is fantastic.
Yeah, it certainly is. That was a good one, too. You needed that, too, because a lot of shit came out there. You needed take a nice deep sip of the Icelandic water there to get it. I'm not the only one, though, that hopes that I get to see a super happy Aaron Rodgers also playing his best football at this stage of life. Let's go to one half of the hammer.
Dahn.
Cowboys, Yenzer AP Tone.
Yeah, he's right, Aaron. I would love to see you back in the black and the gold, but you do what's best for you. It was awesome this last season watching you. There was a lot of surreal moments. Some of my favorite moments on the year is when someone would fuck up and you would chew them out on the field. That was the absolute best. There was a lot of that, unfortunately. But you've been around a lot of Pittsburgh guys your entire career. We've talked about it even before you were Steeler, like back when you were a Packer, and you've heard all these stories and how Pittsburgh is. Did the city and the Yinzers and the fans, did they live up to the expectations that everyone sold you before you actually became a Pittsburgh Steeler?
Better, I would say.
Awesome.
I mean, just the fan support that we have. It started training camp, and I said this before, but the fact that the Steelers still go to Latrobe is so fucking cool. I mean, it really is. Like, I got to give a shout out because I'm if Ben's still watching, like to Meadows. Meadows makes a DQ Blizzard knockoff, which is honestly better than DQ. So shout out to Meadows.
Oh.
Like we went there. DK came a couple times. The funny thing about that is that the one time that DK came was the time where the girl who was working at the front, we became kind of regulars, actually wanted an autograph. And so Ben felt real sensitive about that, which was great. But the fact they do that and then so many fans show up in Latrobe is just, it's awesome. It's such a great team bonding stuff because there's nothing to do. You're staying in old school dorms. Like, I know Mr. Rooney's put a lot of money into that school, but there's, DK and I were sharing a bathroom, sharing a shower. We had a good time though, but so much great team bonding happened in Latrobe, and I know Mike is excited for that. It's a harken back to when we'd go to St. Norbert's across town in Green Bay for so many years and just had a blast, and all the crazy shenanigans that were pulled over there at nighttime by the Flynn's and TJ Langs and Josh Sittons of the world and John Coons. But that was a great, I think, intro to the whole team, and just see the response from the fans and how much they love the black and gold. And then, Acrisure, other than the field surface itself, is a great place to play.
They're fixing that.
I mean, I'm not saying anything out of my ass. Like,
Everybody knows.
Yeah,
Everybody
they're fixing
knows.
that.
Yeah, everybody knows.
But I will say, I had so many cool moments over the years in Lambeau. And Lambeau, as far as songs go, is known for, like, Roll Out the Barrel and Jump Around. But Jump Around they share with the University of Wisconsin, but people still get into it. But Roll Out the Barrel and Jump Around are kind of the two songs. But when they play Renegade, Acrisure, I mean, it's awesome.
We were trying to sing to you before you got over there. That's literally the first thing I think we did as soon as you came on and talked about going to Steelers. We were like, do you know Renegade? Because this is about to be real. Oh, mama.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, it's a real moment.
When the first bar hits, like the whole crowd goes fucking crazy. It's incredible. So I had a really good experience, and the people were great. I always joked for years there's something in the water out there because you think about all the Hall of Fame quarterbacks that have played there. But the people are just really fucking good people. Remind me of Green Bay. Obviously, doesn't have the infrastructure and the architecture. Pittsburgh's a little different than Green Bay, but just I'm talking about like good-hearted, kind human beings. Like Pittsburgh, man, I can't say enough good things about.
Yeah, football people, you know that. And actually, The Football Town is the NFL Films film that was made about the history of Pittsburgh, and 750 Western Pennsylvanians have been drafted to the NFL.
It's a lot.
Did you narrate that, or were you the intro to that, or the whole thing?
I watched it last night for the first time. I watched it. They sent it to me because I wasn't able to make it to the premiere because the combine was happening here, and it's being shown in Cayman Science Center. Cool, got that wrong all day yesterday as we were promoting it. Cayman Science Center, which is the old Carnegie Science Center. It's a 55-minute movie that is shown on Pittsburgh's version of the Sphere, okay, which is what the Cayman Science Center has. And they made this film with super special cameras to obviously be able to showcase it. I think there's like obviously vibrations and sound. It's like an experience that you go and do it. And it's the history of Pittsburgh and football. And I watched it yesterday. They sent me a copy of it. And they wrote me a really nice note because the Pittsburgh Steelers are a part of it. The Rooney family is a part of it. NFL Films was a part of it. And they thanked me, obviously, for my work. And Keith Cosrow, who is from Pittsburgh, who's been at NFL Films for 25 years, took this on as a real passion project because the draft is coming to Pittsburgh. And I'll tell you, I watched it last night. I cried. That I got real emotional that I was even asked to be a part of it because growing up in Pittsburgh, you're going to be shown things about Pittsburgh. I think it'll be this. I think this will be must watch for basically every school in Pittsburgh because it tells the history of the city. obviously talks about Pittsburgh, showcases the pride, showcases the uniqueness of Pittsburgh and what it is. And it was like, and the fact that I was voicing it, it was crazy. I should not have been there's so many people that have come from Pittsburgh. So I'm watching the first 5 minutes, and first 5 minutes is like the open, like basically setting the scene. And it's a lot of me talking. And as soon as it's over, then it goes to the football town with the entire thing. And then it says, as told by Pat McAfee. I actually just like started crying as I was watching it. I'm like, this is like, if you were to tell young me that I was a part of this, I would have felt as if it was the honor of a lifetime, and I still feel that way. So we're going to try to do something draft week. We'll send an invite to you. I don't know how busy you'll be, but I'm going to try to rent out that whole place and invite anybody that's going to be talking about the draft. And
the draft is in Pittsburgh this year?
Yeah, dude. You should come. You want to be a part of it? Draft Spectacular?
I bet you Kuntz thinks he should have been narrating that instead of you.
Yes, exactly. But he's not the only one. There's a lot of Yinzers that should have been in there. In the fact, it was crazy. It was just really, really cool. And I think, I don't know what the number, somebody said that there's a rating. I don't know if they were telling the truth or not.
No, I was just.
Oh, you were just making that up? Yeah. But I do think, after watching it, I'm like, hey, this is some real fucking artsy shit. Like, this is...
I looked to see if it was on Rotten Tomatoes. I couldn't find it.
It's a good story, man. It tells the...
Oh, and you're just making it up, just giving them...
Yeah, he says 98% on tomato meter. I didn't know if he was being serious because that's how much effort they put into it, though. Like, they put into
Certified fresh, right?
Certified fresh. I did Google it.
That's what Tony said. He's just making it up. But it was really cool, and I was watching it, and I fucking cried. But I think it goes back to what you're talking about. Like, that place, since the beginning, is a people of like togetherness, grit, and football. And that story is told in the football town. I'm happy you experienced that. Joining us live from Manatee, Ohio is a college football national champion, Super Bowl champion, Ryder Cup winner, AJ Hawk.
Hey,
Hawker, how you doing? You don't look blurry at all. Good to see you, dude. What's going on, boss?
I'm doing great. They've been working on my audio. I couldn't really hear everything going on today. You say you're coming back or not? What are you doing?
Good question.
Pittsburgh? Is it Pittsburgh or bust?
I already sidebarred you about this. I knew you were going to bring this up.
Is it Pittsburgh or bust? That's a good question, AJ. And the J stands for journalism. Go ahead, Aaron, if you would like to tell him to stop, or we can mute him again if you would like us to do.
Yeah, let's mute him again.
All right. Shut him down. Okay.
See you.
All right, see you, H. Sorry you couldn't hear anything. Let's move along here. Connor has a question for you, Aaron.
Yeah, Aaron, always a pleasure. There's multiple things I'd love to talk to you about, but this is
you had a
not
great
the
year.
forum.
Oh, my God. So much to talk about.
Yeah, I'd say, pal. But speaking of things,
only 3.8 million files worth. I'll tell you, that was a lot of time on the internet, and I'm sure you're taking a lot of victory laps. Now is not time. Let's remember this is a sports show, but I do think you two should potentially get together and link up for a podcast and keep us all updated on what's going on now on your internet.
Yeah, that would be very fun. But
Connor,
Aaron,
I would love to.
Okay, there's a deal. So you guys are doing a show. Okay. Connorspiracy with Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah,
okay.
bingo. The conspiracy files, perhaps. I don't know.
Connorspiracy files with Aaron Rodgers.
Yes.
Okay, sweet. We just got it. Look for the first episode next week.
Yeah, that'll be very fun. We'll start with,
Sports show. Thank you. That'll be another show. Yep.
Aaron, speaking of sports, though, bringing tears to eyes, the Olympics, like the last couple of weeks, have been amazing. We've talked to men's and women's hockey players that have won gold. Were you able to watch it? I know you said you were on a ski trip. Did you watch any of the Olympics? What are your thoughts about it? Did even watching those Olympics also kind of, inspire you even to continue to want to play? Is there anything that you thought of or took away from the Olympics? Because, for us, it took over our little break, and that's all we could really watch and talk about.
Oh, I loved it. I like to, tease my wife. One of my favorite events is the biathlon. Just because I think it's so silly that it's such a European, Eastern European sport where it's how it started. Oh, let's cross country ski. That'd be fun. Nice little workout. But what if we get out there and we see some animals we want to kill? All right, let's bring our rifle. The biathlon is cross country skiing with the rifle shooting. It's incredible, and it's the U.S. has rarely been great at that, and I think there's a reason for that. So I definitely watched a lot of biathlon stuff, but of course I watched our men and women playing hockey, and I've gotten to know Hillary Knight. I got to know her because there's so many Wisconsin connections. Wisconsin, I don't know why they don't have an NHL team because there's so many great hockey players that come from that state. But so I was definitely tuned in for the women. And they were just an absolute buzzsaw, weren't they? They were scoring 5 goals plus every single game to the championship. But that was an awesome win. And then the men, I knew there was a lot of talk about this is a year and stuff, but it's always kind of it's been Canada's sport. Not anymore.
Not anymore.
Not anymore.
Yeah, no more Putin.
And those brothers, I mean, studs. The two sets of brothers, the Kachucks and the Hughes, man, that was. This play right here, just to pop it over, was unbelievable. And I was watching it and going absolutely nuts when Hughes put this in the back of the net. And I think, like most Americans who were watching were. So, man, that was awesome for our country. I've always thought, we won a Super Bowl in Green Bay, and you can say you're the best in the world, but you're really the best in the United States. But when you win an Olympic medal, you are truly the best in the world. Now, they didn't let some of the Russian athletes in. I think, obviously we know there's been some doping issues in the past with some of those athletes, but they're the best in the world. Everybody that won medals, and I think, gold obviously gets focused on so much more, and there's so many great Olympians that won gold for us, but so many who won silver and bronze should be really proud. I was going back in some of because I just like the history. Like, isn't it amazing that the really the best country over the last, I don't know how many, 10 Olympics plus, maybe forever, is Norway? That Norway wins the medal count every year. I know it's just a country of that small.
Yeah.
To be that dominant at so many different sports is pretty amazing. But I love the new sports too. I think, just going skiing and then watching some of these events where they do like crazy moguls into like backflips, or they're doing skiing half pipes, or they're it's and you had Michaela on, right? She won another gold. Like, that was amazing. But yeah, I'm really so proud of all of our Olympians as an American. I think I want to take this time to talk about the absolute hose job that our pairs dancers got.
Okay.
There's a lot of stories about them. They got absolutely hosed by the French judge.
Agreed.
Not surprising.
Classic.
They should have won. They should have won gold for sure. But they won gold in the team competition, which was great. But they're the husband and wife duo. I think it's ice dancing. But they were awesome to watch. And so, yeah, man, I definitely tuned in. It was cool on Peacock. Shout out to Peacock, because they had like they have like Scott Hansen's on the
gold zone.
They had the gold zone. That was awesome.
Yeah,
gold zone was great.
It kept us rolling there. Yeah, anytime.
They had a lot of curling though. A lot of curling was shown on the gold zone.
Yeah, it's too much boring. I think curling had a run.
Not the most exciting sport.
Nope.
No, yeah, curling had a run there with curling Matty Hamilton and the boys on the stone whenever we were really winning.
Wisconsin guy.
Absolute stud, obviously, with the stick and the stone. He has the capabilities to kind of do it all on there. But I don't need to be watching Great Britain take on who gives a fuck in curling in the afternoon.
Not.
Especially if there's a hockey game going on between Canada and who gives a fuck.
Yeah.
Like that.
But there was the fun like little drama where the one guy accidentally touched the stone.
Oh, the Canadian, you're saying?
Yeah,
you're talking about the muddy, what's it called?
It wasn't across the hog line. You wouldn't get it.
Sorry
about it. Wasn't across the hog line.
No, from my understanding, there were some people that were saying that was a penalty in curling, because the extra boom, I guess, in Olympic play, not necessarily okay. And then didn't the Canadian
the full rock
woman do it as well?
That's because the full rock has to be past the hog line.
Well, then why was everybody telling me you guys were cheating?
Well, that's why he won the gold medal.
Who won the gold?
Canada.
In the women?
In the men's.
Oh, so the lady that cheated did not win.
No.
What about the hockey?
Yeah, what did happen with the hockey?
Like I said, congratulations. I've said it probably 150 times now.
He's got 150 more.
It was 3-on-3, It wasn't real hockey.
You ran into a hot goalie, that happens. Goalie stood on his head. What are you supposed to do?
He's Hal Buck. Saw every puck.
Medal of Freedom. Love it.
Yep, he immediately just followed up. And I'll tell you right now, I had everybody vote. He said, if anybody says no, we're not going to do it. Fucking everybody, yeah.
Hey, Connor, can we get that one guy out of the locker room, though, and get him working on something else?
I'll tell you what,
That's a bad look.
I saw some people. Now, he is a beer league hockey player, I do believe. Like, he still does pick up ice hockey with the lads, so I think he is a massive hockey fan. But I was shown some presentations of some potential happenstances taking place at that exact moment, and then what happens, especially with what the world's got going on. I'm like, oh yeah, I guess there is some titles that you shouldn't be tying one on, I guess. Fucking, we did beat Canada, though. It was hard not to get lost in the moment, I assume. You know, McDavid's on that team.
Exactly.
Oh, my
Celebrini.
God. But then there was somebody that...
Crosby.
he was hurt.
Sam Bennett.
I know. Awesome guy.
Great guy.
Hey, shout out to Shorzy. Shorzy, if you haven't seen the show, seriously, go watch it right now. It's fucking hilarious. I know my man Jared Kelso is Canadian, but unbelievable show. And that got me. I've always loved watching playoff hockey, but that got me like that and going to a Pens game this year and watching the old guys, Gino and Sid and Letang, still playing in their 21st year and just seeing that support there. But Shorzy got me way more into hockey. So there's a new season out as well. I think season 5. I haven't binged it yet, but shout out to Mr. Kelso and everybody with Shorzy because that's a hell of a show.
Hell yeah, that's a great way to get into hockey. However you get into hockey, you should get into hockey. Hockey is spectacular, and the cultures of the hockey are even better, like the humans and the way they're supposed to act. And in the PWHL, the Boston Fleet are about to go on a run and win the entire thing. So we're all in, and we're happy you are in on the hockey as well. I'm happy you went to a Pens game. We saw you there. I think we saw you there. We saw you at the game. That's a good time. Good time over there at the PPG Paints Arena.
Great time with the big boys. Took the line over there. Had a good time. And Mason showed up. Will showed up. Skyler, I can't remember if Sky showed up or not.
Nah, bad teammate. You're a bad teammate.
No, I think Sky showed up.
Somebody else put this together, not you, obviously. You were not a part of that. Somebody else did this for you because you would never do something
Well, listen, I mean, I had the idea, but I got to give a shout out to Big Head, to Cam Hayward, because Cam has a connection over there. He's been there forever. Cam had the connection. I had the idea. McCormick, I love fucking McCormick. He's the best. Him, he was kind of the ringleader, getting some of the line to go. And then the QB room was great. Anytime we had something going on, there was kind of an understanding that everybody was going to be there. So you knew that, Mason, Will, and Sky were going to be there. So.
Terrible teammate. You're a terrible teammate.
Skyler's probably loyal to the Panthers. Spent some time down there in Miami.
Oh, you think he's a Florida? He's
Kiesel too.
The
man.
best.
What a beauty he is.
He likes to have a good time.
Yeah, he's still there. And to be clear, he still might be 4th most popular Steeler, active or retired, just because of how much
he was a big night out doing it.
Yeah, we loved him. We love everything about him.
Who do you put above him?
Big Ben is a big deal. He's the most tenured Pittsburgh Steeler of all time. So I think he's obviously conversation.
John Kuhn.
On the Pittsburgh Steelers?
Yeah, Coon's a Steeler.
Got a ring.
The fucking that was a nice little Jeopardy trivia that he wanted to get in there.
Happy birthday, by the way, to
Chris Fuamatu Mafala, maybe the original Coon. So maybe Coon's hero, Chris Fuamatu Mafala. Happy birthday to him. I'll put him up there for sure.
Troy.
Palamalu deserves it up there. I mean, there's some greats. Cordell Stewart gave us some good times back in the day.
Tommy Gunn.
I mean, it depends on how you really want to go through it.
No blood.
Tommy Maddox.
Terry Bradshaw never gets talked about. Before him, there was no Super Bowls in Pittsburgh. But I think he's come out and hasn't been like, okay.
What about Mel Blunt?
Yeah. Oh, dog. Still big cowboy hat.
Change the game.
Big cowboy hat.
Literally change the game.
Fucking mean Joe Green.
AB.
Huge. Antonio Brown, I mean.
Hines is way up
One of the
there.
greatest wide receivers of all time on the field, obviously. Heath Miller had a great chant. He was one of the original, where he was kind of
Casey.
There's a lot in there. So what I'm saying is it's good to be in that top amount, and that's what Kiesel has done because of how present he is for the people of Pittsburgh all the time. And you were the same way. And we appreciated how you treated Pittsburgh. That was for real. Now let's talk about you treating younger players, especially with how terrible of a teammate you are and how bad of a leader you are and everything. Go ahead, Ty.
Yeah, Aaron, great to see you, as always. Before we get to that, I know you acted on Game of Thrones. If you're looking for a new show, if you haven't watched it yet, Night of the Seven Kingdoms, dive in.
Yeah. So good.
Thrones is all the way back.
Is it really?
It's unbelievable.
Is it really?
It's unbelievable.
Is it better than House of the Dragon?
Yes.
Way better.
Landslide.
I never watched the Orig. I never watched the Orig. I watched this. Don't
you?
have to watch the Orig to watch this.
No, you don't.
It has been fantastic.
Yes.
Connor sent me a text and said, hey, I know you're never going to be able to. You don't have to. This one's even better.
Yeah, and it's only 6 episodes, so you can knock it out very quickly, but it is immaculate. I think you'll enjoy it. But
What's it on? What platform?
HBO.
HBO stuff.
HBO?
Yep.
Soon to be.
Yeah, soon to be Paramount Plus
Spending a
Max
lot of money
or
on
something.
They're spending a lot of money.
A lot of
They
money.
are all in on everything.
They are. Everything's going to be on there eventually.
Hey, we're happy. Hey, they love live
Yeah.
sports. Maybe a daily sports talk show.
We'll see. We'll see.
I'm joking.
That's good.
But Aaron, I am curious because we didn't talk to you throughout the season. how much were you watching college football? Do you claim Fernando Mendoza as a Cal Bear? No, okay, you don't. But then I was just curious if
you know it. You tell the story. You
had
tell
a good time in Berkeley.
Yes, I did. Go ahead. I don't like what you just did.
How can you not with Marshawn, though? What a fucking legend.
Yeah. He delivered the goods. He did. Right on time, right on the stage.
Yeah,
that was pretty fantastic. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. I'm surprised he hasn't reached out because it seems like, I mean, we talked about this a little bit with you a couple years ago where you've gotten to the point in your career now where half the guys in the league talk about how you were the player that they looked up to. And then, just like that moment being able to kind of pick your brain a little bit. Do you have just like a laundry list of guys now? Like, are guys very actively and frequently kind of reaching out to you, younger quarterbacks in the league, and asking you how they can get better? And like, how has that been? Like, do you still enjoy that aspect of it where you kind of are just like you're the forebear of all this quarterback knowledge and you get to pass it on to the next generation?
Well, I'm available if anybody wants to learn. I would say that the younger player is more hesitant, maybe. Like my phone's not ringing off the hook with guys wanting to learn. So I'm just going to talk about one guy that I really poured into this year a lot, and that was incredible to work with, and that's Will Howard. I knew about Will watching him ball out for Ohio State. I didn't really pay a ton of attention when he was at Kansas State, I'll be honest with you, but I loved watching him with Ohio State because obviously age was there, and I followed the team for a long time and enjoy watching them. But I didn't know what to expect when Will came in or how it would be with me and Mason and Sky for that matter as well. But the room was a fantastic room. I mean, I love those guys, and we still have a group chat that lights up all the time. But Will in general, I think, has what it takes from a personality and a moxie standpoint to have a long career in the league. You never know what's going to happen until the live bullets start flying. But I went to him early in the season, early in camp, and I said, listen, I help you as much or as little as you want. It's kind of my nature to inject, during a drill work or during a meeting, because I want you to see the game the way I see it. And I want you to be thinking about the things that a young player should be thinking about. And a lot of this goes back to when I was a young player and how I was treated. And it's the way that I wanted to treat my backups when I became a starter and the way that I feel like I worked with Jordan Love and Zach in New York, even though that was only for a year. But I really wanted to pour into Will and make sure he knew that I cared about him and I wanted him to be successful. And anybody who's in Latrobe who watched practice was like, damn, this Will Howard pretty damn good. I mean, he was having a real nice camp until he had a fluke injury, which kind of allowed him to just kind of reset and learn the game. And, he's going through his rehab on his hand and different things. And throughout the season, it was fun to see him get suited up later in the year. But Will has he's got the right mindset. He's a very humble guy. He asks a lot of questions. He was in my hip pocket for a bunch, and I loved it. I mean, I really did. I'm a big Will Howard, not just fan as a human, but believer as a player, that when his time comes, he's going to be more than capable of being not just a consistent starter, but a guy who can stick in the league for a long, long time. And it's because of his mindset. He's got kind of an old school mindset where he takes notes. He's talking about the right things he cares about. He takes care of his body. And I think he's got even more to give from that standpoint. But that's what I'm excited for him. And I told him this when Mike was hired. Like, Mike knows how to work the quarterback room. And Mike knows how to be involved, to teach the game, to teach defenses, to teach you how to be an expert of the offense, and then give you the keys to take control. So I love working with Will. I love seeing guys across the league. Like, I got a charity thing coming up in a few weeks, and it'll be fun to see Sam Darnold. I mean, what an incredible story that Sam has gone through, and to be a Super Bowl champion and to play so well this year. It's fucking awesome. I mean, that's what it's all about. It's guys that second and third chances, and you start to figure it out, and you've been cast off by this negative, constant critiques of who you are as a player, and you're a washout, you're a bust, whatever it might be. And I thought Sam just handled himself so well this year. I think I would have had a hard time not chirping a little bit more.
No.
People who tried to fucking crush me, because they crushed him. Guess what? He's got a ring now. and
forever.
A lot of people are dining on some crow. So I love the fraternity that is the quarterback room, and I'm always open to helping guys out. But it starts from the guys, in my room and on my team, and I loved working with Mason, Sky, and Will, and I hope Will, and I think he did. I think he learned a lot this year, and he's got a bright future.
Okay, quick follow-up on Will. Incredible answer there. Appreciative of your answer for how much you care about ball and the future of ball, because the quarterback position is the future of ball. Will Howard being talked about immediately. If Aaron doesn't come back, maybe Will Howard gets an opportunity finally to kind of run the team. Big Mike McCarthy spoke about it all, and he said he wanted to watch the practice reps of Will throughout the season, and he said he just want to see how he processes the defense. How much can you get from watching Will at practice as opposed to what it was training camp whenever he got back healthy and was doing some work maybe against the defense? Was there things that you saw like, okay, feels like his arm can keep up with the NFL if he had to, and his brain could do the NFL if he had to? Were there things in practice that you can know? You said you can't tell until live bullets, but were there indicators that's like, hey, he physically would be able to survive in the NFL as well, not just because of his leadership, which we saw up close and personal with Ohio State every single. He had a dance and a celebration with everybody on the team. It was unbelievable watching him lead. But like when it comes to being physical of quarterback, was there shit you saw in practice that Big Mike might have been mentioning or alluding to whenever he talked about watching his practice reps all season?
Yeah, I think so. I think it all comes down to processing for a young player. Can you process the defense quickly? What play we're in? Is it a check with me play? Is it a run it versus anything? What's the progression? Where do my eyes start with? That's why I talked to him a lot about, like, where do your eyes start with each play? Because you need to simplify things in order to process quickly. So, and then part of processing is anticipation. Can you throw with anticipation? In college, you see a guy open, you throw it. In the NFL, you expect the guy to be open, so you anticipate and throw, and the windows are tighter, so you have to throw with anticipation. So, I saw that late in the year as he returned to practice. I think from an intelligence standpoint, processing the pre-snap stuff, I think he's going to be great at that. He was my right-hand man with all the signals this year. He was phenomenal at it. He sat next to me in every meeting. He was sitting next to me in the quarterback room. He sat next to me in the big room when we went offense, and I loved it because I was always, whispering things to him about this, or remember this, or take this note, or hey, remind me of this thing. And he would come with, he'd learned how I did. When I was a young player, I studied defenses, and I studied, defensive signals and secondary and different things. And that's what he was doing. And then he was watching me, self-scout me on what signals I used during the week. And I think it was anything but a wasted year. It was a year that he's going to look back on at some point and be really thankful that he learned football in that way, and yeah, I'm proud of his progression. And like I said, he was playing great in training camp before he had that fluke, hand injury, and he came back and got back into it. And he can throw it, he can move, and as he continues to refine his body and get more reps, I think he's gonna realize his potential.
Hey, Will, get your ass in shape. Now, on that note, he is big. He is big, and I think that's the thing is like he has the capability. Okay, to be a strapping dude. Yeah. And if he's able to piece everything, not that he isn't now, but I'm just saying, like, Will, if you were to go, Will, everybody we've talked to that knows you says if he gets to the next step, which is where he's headed, he's a guy. And I think that means like body, mind, everything. And that's exciting news, Will. We're happy for him. I would like him to be very successful. So thank you for leaning in on him because I was very loud going into the draft about him being a guy. So you doing everything you did for him last year, thank you, sir. That is going to give me a good, just like I fucking said it was. That gives me one of those.
Victory lap. Yeah.
Which is big in this business. As you know, that is a big deal. So
Receipts, huh?
Yeah,
Receipts.
They don't have a scoreboard here in our particular profession. In sports, there is, which is why it's the greatest. You actually find out, But in sports media, there isn't. But every once in a while, you got to let people know, like, we did score here. This was. And at the time, he got real loud. Yep. He got real from real big people saying things about me. And it's like, come on, Will. I believe in him. I'm happy to hear you do as well. AJ has a question for you, Aaron.
Yeah, getting back to it. I said Pittsburgh or bust earlier. Is that a situation that you wanted to address? You're a very open-minded person, so I assumed you'd be open to play anywhere. But I don't know with your ties to Pittsburgh and obviously Big Mike. It all seems to make sense to me.
That's a good question.
What makes sense?
you going back to Pittsburgh, playing for Big Mike. I think Campy is there. Mark Lovat is there. There's a lot of great Green Bay people back in town.
Thorne.
So I think Grant Thorne, amazing. There's some amazing characters. Yeah. Yes.
There's some great characters. I mean, like, listen, I'd be lying if I didn't say that was something that I enjoyed seeing, like all those guys getting back together. And, it's some of the guys that had the greatest impact on my career. You're talking about James Campen, who used to take me out when I was a rookie on the road because I didn't know where to go, what to do. And there wasn't a lot of rookies back then. There's less rookies making the team than there are now. And Campy would take me out to dinner on the road a lot. And he always says that I took him out one time to a Mexican spot that cost, $10 a person. And he used to take me to, $50, $60 a person dinners. But James was an influential person in my life as a young player, especially. I love Coach Campen at the time. Obviously, Mike, I've talked about him a bunch. Mark Lovat, it was Barry Rubin, and who I love. Barry Rubin, one of the all-time greats in the league, strength coach. And Mark Lovat was his assistant back then. And I watched Bloke, go from assistant to then Dave Redding came in. Redman, just what a fucking legend. You remember Redman, AJ? What a great guy. And then Mark took over and had a lot of fun and success with him. He's one of the great human beings in the business that I've been able to be across. And Grant, watch him come in from, a young guy trying to sort it out. We gave him a ton of shit, all the time. But, with him and Thaddeus Jackson, just some great guys I was able to be a part with. So obviously that would be a draw if I decided we'd go down that path. But again, it takes two to tango, and we'll see what happens as we get into free agency and everything. But obviously I have so much love for all those guys I mentioned. And Tom Arth. Tom was there in the offseason, my first offseason. So to be able to play for him last year was really special. And Jari Evans was a teammate of mine. He's assistant offensive line coach now. Jari's an awesome guy. Like, you just felt so secure with him at guard. Like, okay, this guy is an absolute mauler, and he's going to take care of his guy every play. So, yeah, I mean, I love the staff that he's – Pat Graham was there for a year with us as well, I was teasing. I can't remember who I was talking to. Like, Pat Graham was a little puffier back then. Like, Pat looks like he's kind of shredded now.
Oh, is that big?
He looks like he's in shape. Like, he was a little puffier back then. So it's and Scott McCurley, who was with us for a long time, and still a linebacker coach. So obviously, I know a lot of that staff and have a lot of love for those guys. And I think Mike's done a really good job of putting that together. Even his chief of staff, Scar, was with us in the Jets. An awesome guy. So. I think he's done a good job putting that whole thing together.
I think some Steelers fans aren't going to be thrilled that somebody from the Jets is in there. But on that note, sounds like a great guy.
He's not a lifer Jet. So
Okay.
Not many of those.
Okay. Yeah. Do those exist? I know if you have a last name, maybe.
That's it.
Fireman
starts.
Well,
he did actually say recently he got an autopsy and they cut him open and they said, "Oh my God, sir, you bleed green. We've never seen this before."
Fireman Ed?
Yeah.
Thank you. So I'm happy to hear that is the case. Fireman
Didn't
Ed.
they do an autopsy when you've died? What's he talking?
Well, that's the thing. Connor said he was dead a couple times.
Yeah, he's been dead twice, 3, 4 times, 5 times, 6 times, 7 times.
That man is death-defying. Is what Fireman Ed is. Runs towards the fire. So let's never forget that. And just because he just so happened to get put into a spot to have to cheer for the worst fucking. You didn't say this. Take Aaron off the screen, please. Can you take Aaron off the screen? The worst franchise fucking ever. All right, put us back up there. That is not Fireman Ed's fault, okay? There's a lot of people like Fireman Ed who have given up, and then obviously because they're in the spotlight, it's talked about. I think all people just would like to have success there, which he did at one point, wanted just to have success there. And I'm worried about that place. Forever.
No, they're supposed to be really good this next year.
Yeah, I have a lot of faith in this year, especially from what we saw at the Combine.
I know, but Jets fans deserve it. I think we all...
Do they?
No, they don't.
Why are you guys so mean, Jets fans? They
Greeny does.
Yeah, what about Greenberg? Greenberg said he would cut off... You remember?
Yeah.
Cole.
That's
Michael Cole? You don't think he deserves
Exactly. I want to see Cole squirm forever.
Gary V?
Good call.
Thank you, Aaron.
He's going to own him soon.
Well, that's a long road, I think, especially with what they're valuing the Miami Dolphins at.
Lin Ben.
Yeah, $12.5 billion is the valuation for the Miami Dolphins as Lin Ben, Chinese billionaire, comes in and buys 1% at $125 million. It's not just the Dolphins, though. It's also the F1 race down there. It's also the tennis tournament down there. It's also the...
No, it'll just let you know, let everybody know it's race week for F1. It's back.
Oh, we know. Yeah, we know.
Yeah, we know. Australia, baby.
Melbourne. See you Saturday at 11 p.m., baby.
Really?
Yeah.
Melbourne?
Yeah, Melbourne.
I can't believe you still...
America's team.
Andretti's doing that. Who's running the Cadillac? Is it Andretti's? Who is it?
I think he's a part of it.
All right, I'm in on it. But nonetheless, what the Seahawks are going to go for, crazy. So if Gary V was to ever get the Jets, I think he's going to have to start moving some real Gary V mons out there. And it's going to have to be a lot of them. They're going to have to get up there a lot. And we will try to continue to promote the Eager Eagle.
Come on now.
Okay, we will continue to try that, but I think it's going to take a long road to get there. Okay, I do think. And I don't know how the Jets got buried in this whole thing, and I apologize for that. Your fans don't deserve it, but everybody tried to win over there, including this guy. Now, will you play in the future? We don't know. What we do know is you're seemingly enjoying the hell out of your life with your wife right now. D-Bud has a question about that.
Yeah, completely away from ball. Like you said earlier, it's March 4th. I know it's the time of year where I kind of dial in, binge some old TV shows I haven't watched. Homeland's one of them, Peaky Blinders with the movie coming out down the lines. And then I got a 17-year-old daughter, so whatever I can do to hang out with her when she allows me in. Love is Blind. I'm hooked. Big show tonight. Any show that you've been dialed into lately, Aaron?
I love that you said that because it is Wednesday and this is the last episode. What a fucking great season.
Everybody loves Love is Blind. Everybody loves
season. I can't believe they cut last week before we get to the altar for everybody, man.
That's Love is Blind.
Cliffhanger.
You know what? I enjoyed it so much. I went back and I'm watching last season of Love is Blind. What a wild season. The poor half Chinese, half Mongolian guy who.
Oh man, Patrick.
He just got
tough situation.
Described by everybody.
He got real.
Patrick got screwed.
Could have said a guy with brown hair.
No, that's the only way you describe him, AJ.
Hey,
I don't know the show well enough.
DB,
I haven't seen the show.
I assume that is
I
a
am
piece.
excited. What's gonna happen, DB? Who do you got as lock? I got the big guy. And the woman.
Christine.
As a lock.
Black dude with dreads. And the white
for sure.
girl, they're a
they're
lot.
Yeah,
no drama.
I think that's the only two.
I think Bree and Connor. I think they're gonna make it.
You're a fool.
I think that was set up.
Got a chance.
I think Bree
You
and
think
Connor
that was
make
set up?
Yeah,
Really?
I think it was set up. I think Bree and Connor. I think they make it.
I think Mike says no right off.
How many of these people are out here? What the hell is going on?
So like right now.
What
there's
about
5
the
couples.
Italian guy? The Italian guy.
he's gonna win.
Yeah, I think it starts with him saying no.
He said no. He wants kids.
Yeah, he wants a family.
He wants kids.
And she won't lock in.
That's
on a
Italian,
family.
baby.
Are they all dancing around with each other, or all these are
No,
all?
solo. That's Love Island.
Okay, so this where that guy went running into the water and his lady was getting pounded.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's Love Island.
Correct.
Montoya just
Yeah,
came back to that was
boom.
his name. Or
Nailed it. Montoya, I believe,
Okay,
yeah.
so that's a Love Island.
Inigo Montoya.
Nice.
I don't know if what is that from?
That's Princess Bride.
But DB.
Jesus Christ, a Princess Bride drop right there. I would have never.
Love is Blind tonight. Can't
Okay.
wait for the finale.
Okay,
Really
I'll do.
excited.
What about Traders?
To Columbus, by the way. Columbus, Ohio.
That's what I heard. Do they ask height and weight of each other? Do they have any idea what they look like?
Nope. You can't ask any like feature questions. You can't tell them like
stupid.
what race you are, what color your hair is, anything.
It's just what?
Yeah, but the Chinese Mongolian guy said that he was Asian.
Love this guy.
Well,
So does it say
Dude, he was
Chinese Mongolian
he was
Patrick?
Unbelievable.
no,
That's his name on
it
this
just says Patrick, and she specifically asked like, what are you?
How about when she breaks up with him and says it's not about your looks, and they go like 45 minutes earlier, and she's just like, "Yeah, I could never be attracted to him. It's not going to."
This is
It's
Chinese
electric, dude.
Mongolian.
I text you middle of
Yeah.
vacation.
You said this is not something that you would ever think about, but you need to think about. Love is Blind is electric, is what you said.
I'm telling you, it's been a great season this season too. I'm glad you brought that up, DB.
Hell yeah.
I have been watching, man. I can't wait.
Good luck to all those couples. I hope you find.
Couple of them do.
It's already happened. Yeah, it's already happened.
There's been like this is the 9th season. I think there's been like 8 or 9 weddings like that go through.
That's pretty cool.
Wow, that is awesome.
Well, it sounds like
sure
the
they'll make
Mongolian Chinese guy's about to get his heart broken.
No.
He already left.
Yeah, that was last season.
Okay.
And he did. And the reunion was fireworks.
All right.
Tell me, I haven't got there yet. I'm going.
All right, okay. Go
to
back.
the reunion.
There's 7 other seasons, too. It sounds like you can fucking dive on in, bub.
Houston's wild.
I'm going to start doing that. I'm going to start watching that. Okay, so let's recap this conversation, shall we? You're very happy. Wife, Brittany, awesome. Mia, dog. would like that.
Yeah.
You would like people to move on from stalking you, obviously. That'd be cool if that would stop happening. Both people that have been in your life and also people that are trying to cover your life. Football, there has been no movement in decision-making, both on your side and any other side. So, like, when that time comes, you'll make the decision. You're staying in shape, and you fucking love Love is Blind.
Yeah.
Is that basically a good recap of everything we got here? And we're launching a show that has a logo. Look for the first episode coming soon. Boom! Wow. The Conspiracy Files with Aaron Rodgers.
CM
Punk.
Okay.
We get the all-seeing eye. We get.
Yeah.
I like it.
There's a lot of things. Now, I don't know if that necessarily is AI's greatest go at Aaron Rodgers.
No.
But
That's pretty close.
He looks good.
Yeah, we'll shop it. We'll workshop it a little bit.
I'll take it.
Anything we missed in there? Is there anything we missed in there? I don't think so.
No, I mean, if we're gonna call it, I just want to. I'll get my ass whipped if I don't read this that Mia told me.
Oh yes, that was the
message.
Foxy actually also Love Is Blind fan. Drop.
Oh no, he's
Shout out to all the boys in the back. I fucking miss you guys. Man.
Hell yeah. Thank you, Aaron.
With you guys.
Appreciate you, dude.
But Foxy
Good to see you guys.
Foxy just dropped into my ear there and was like, "We got to hear from Mia. Got to hear from Mia." That's what he
All right,
literally
well, I'm
just
gonna
said.
sign off on this because my phone's dying too.
Okay.
All right, I got to read this here.
Full screen for you, buddy. The floor is yours and Mia, I guess.
This is from Mia in her voice. She says, "Bitches, stop flat out lying. I don't have a sister named Christy, and I have more than 2 sisters. Also, I have never lived in Wisconsin. Stop using my brother's name for clicks and views, you fucking weirdos." Okay.
Period.
And one more thing. I learned football this past year, and more than half of sports media should not be reporting on football, a game they know nothing about. They too should keep my brother's name out of their fucking mouths. Thanks, Mia.
Okay, was that a period
Shout
or
out to
exclamation point at the end?
Thanks, comma.
Okay. Formal.
Okay.
Thanks.
That's unbelievable. Well, thank you, Mia. That was phenomenal.
Thanks, guys. Yep, love you, Mia. Thanks, guys.
Hey, and we love you, man. Thank you
Love
for
you,
joining us.
Aaron.
Great to catch up with you. Good luck with everything. And yeah, dude, do your journey of life. We've been appreciative
I
following
will.
along with
I'm
all
loving
of it.
it.
Yeah, it sounds like
I'm loving it.
how happy you are, dude. You're floating.
I am.
Aw, dude, that's super cute, man. I'm sure this will kind of stop all the conversations about
It should.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure.
It will.
Always does.
You're the best. Ladies and gentlemen, Brittany's
I
husband,
was right about COVID. Yep. Thank you.
Aaron Rodgers. First episode of Conspiracy Files with Aaron Rodgers coming out soon.
Yeah, we'll dive into that.